I am still alive and kicking, for those that might have wondered where I've gone for the last few days. Obviously, I don't stream on the weekends, but I did have to skip Thursday and Friday due to me catching a cold. Let me put my tweet out real quick before I forget that. That is done. Okay, so as some of you know, I'm kind of prone to being sickly, and it happens that through either my son's school or my husband's work, they come into contact with cooties, they bring them home, give them to me, and then I keep them for a few weeks. That's kind of what's happened here. My husband got sick last week. He was sick for like, I don't know, all of 4 hours total. He had like the sniffles, a little bit of fever, and then like next thing I know, he's out and about going, yeah, I feel fine. And I'm probably going to hang on to this for a good while. Thankfully, the medications that my doctor gave me when I went to visit her Friday have helped considerably. I don't have a lot of the congestion and stuff. I still have the cough and everything, but it's not as bad as it was or could be, I would guess. But yeah, some of the meds she gave, there was like one that's supposed to be like a energy boost to kind of help me fight off the cooties. And I swear, since I've been taking it, all I want to do is sleep. So I don't know if that's working opposite of what's supposed to or what, but that's pretty much what I've done most of the weekend. Well, actually, since Friday, I've just been sleeping a lot because I'm just so tired and achy and just under the weather. So we are back though. I'm going to try and tough it through it. Morning, Bones. Thank you for hosting and glad you can make it. So I got my like meds off. I got cough drops, uh, pills, everything here. So let me just what we're going to do today is mostly we're going to go over some of the latest happenings in WildStar, some of the event stuff that's going on, some of the announcements they've made, and we're also going to take a preview of decor. If we have time, depending on how long we stay on this, we may get back to the painting that I still haven't finished from last week, but mostly I want to get caught up on things because the last couple of days of last week I missed out on a lot of things that I wanted to share with you guys, so I'm going to try and cover all of that together. So some of this, or probably most of this, will be old news for many of you, but hopefully for anyone that has been like me, kind of fallen behind on updates and everything, this will be helpful to you. Hey Poi, good morning. Speaking of Poi, this is Poi's alt plot on Dominion. We're on Captain Dax. She was kind enough to line up some of the goodies that she's gotten from Madame Faye, so that we can take a closer look up at them. But before we get to that, let's go over some of the other stuff. First and foremost, there is a new, I think it's, let me look here. I don't know if it's on the thingy or what. Yeah, it's the signature station. If you are a signature player, that means you pay a monthly little stipend or whatever to get some extra bonuses. What they have for the signature station is the idea behind it is we get early access to certain goodies like decor packs, die packs, a lot of the mounts, especially when it comes to seasonal decor packs and things. And what happens is they will put it up on the signature station early for those of us that are paying subscription prices. And then later they will unlock it for everybody. And then once it's done, if they decide to pull it or whatever, then it goes back to just being exclusively for the signature players. For example, the Valentine Cuddly collection with the heart and plushies and everything, and the spring decor pack with all the flowers and such, that's still available to those of us that are signature, even though the Valentine's and spring seasons goodies are gone, they're past. Um, the way they wanted to do was kind of reward those that are willing to stick it out with um, going subscription, to give us, it's not that we get exclusive access, we just get early access and continued access once that particular promotion is off the table for the general community. Those of us that have been paying, we maintain access. So I know a lot of people were kind of upset when they saw that the Dominion pack is on the signature station, because that means at the moment that's not available to everybody. But what it is we're just getting early access is basically what it is. I know it doesn't say that in word for word, it says signature exclusive, but that just means, again, it's a early access type of thing. So we do have the Dominion Builder's Kit. It's got a lot of pillars, ramps, arches, lots of walls, emblems, and things like that. So for those of you, especially Dominion side or even Exile side, that want some of that gold and white rock type of materials for building, that is a welcome addition. You could see it was for quite a few pieces. There's multiples of some, like 4 of the thin walls. So I didn't count up how many pieces there are in total, but you can see there's 4, 2, 2, 4, 1, 1, 4, 2. And that's all for 115 omnibits, or if you want to pay the Protobucks, you can do that. So relatively, considering the pieces, that's not a bad price. I think these bundles that they've been putting out for Easter and all that is nice. The only issue I have is I wish they would also offer the individual pieces, maybe even at a higher cost, or maybe little mini bundles of just the walls or just this or just that. Um, to give us a little bit more flexibility, because there are a lot of packs where, like, say for instance, um, the Valentine pack, it came with plushies and like the heart pillow. Maybe I want a dozen of those heart pillows, but I don't want to have an extra dozen each of the plushies. If they offer the heart pillow on its own, like I said, maybe at a raised cost of some sort, I would think that would be a nice alternative to just having the standard pack. Granted, when you do buy these packs, they are account bound, so that you get it, you claim it on one character, but then you can divvy it up among all of your alts. So that is a one plus. If you decide you don't want to use a particular item on a given character, you can push it off to somebody else. So that's good. Yeah, I think those will work really nice. So yeah, we do have the Builder's Kit, and we have the Citizen Decor Packs. Again, currently they are only on the signature station, but at some point they're going to be available. I don't remember how, if it's like a week or two that we get early access or what, but you have a whole pack of um, exile citizens, male and female, just regular clothes. I don't know if they have specific poses or anything. I really haven't looked. I don't do a lot of NPC decor myself, so those that have cities and stuff would probably be more prone to doing that. But there is, of course, also the Dominion one. So you have all of theirs. A very welcome addition uh, to those that have been looking for just some plain closed NPCs, rather than always having the ones that's got weapons and like high up gear and kind of things like that. So should be a good move. Um, I do know that there are those that wish we would be getting more of those, like the Draken decor pack, where they're actually sitting and laying down, having those of all of the other races as well. But maybe that's something that's in the works. I have no idea. Um, let's see. The next thing is the Madame Faye update. This is where Poi's plot comes in handy. First of all, you can see the ominous sky remodel. She has that up. Very pretty, very mood setting. I've seen several screenshots of folks using it on their spooky plots to great effect. The only thing that one individual noted, and I don't know if I can get it to show up, yeah, you can kind of barely see it right there. There's a little bit of a tear in the sky. I think you just have to be kind of at the right angle to get it to show up. It kind of reminds me of where you have overlapping upside down snowy hills. There's a little bit of a line where the edges are, and that's kind of what this looks like. And it goes all the way across. The screenshot that they posted on Twitter really shows it really nice. But from what I read from the dev response, the art people are looking into getting that sorted so there is no tear across the sky. Um, Again, I think it was just a texture error that didn't get caught before it was released. So yeah, point me neither. I kind of tend to leave mine open for those that might want to role play rather than populating my plots, even the bigger ones that I've done, like the shopping mall. I have some NPCs as some of the shopkeepers, but that's about as extensive as I've gotten. It's uh, just, I don't know. I think it's more of a pain for me to try and keep up with all the NPCs and stuff. If I happen to come across some cheap ones, yeah, I'll probably get them. But I have a lot of NPCs that I just haven't used. I haven't given them to anybody and put them in a crate yet. So, okay, so these are, again, some of the new Madame Faye stuff. You can get the Ominous Sky, and then there's the diorama pieces. Now, if you want a full listing of all of the items that Madame Faye offers, be sure and check out the official forums. Peregrine's been doing really nice about listing out all of the things that come out with her each time she gets updated. And just visit the marketplace subforum, and you'll see the current rewards for Madame Faye, and she even has the date 10/12, and she's got a listing section by section. She lists all the hoverboard pieces, costume pieces, all the decor. Um, that way, for those that are trading off these things on the since these aren't bind on pickup, then you will be more easily able to identify them or search them up on the auction house. So this is the diorama pieces. This is the sand or desert diorama piece. It's called specifically the diorama base desert, and then the one next to it is the diorama base space. You can see that the desert one has a little bit of an incline, a change in contour there. You got the shallow end and then the deep end here, or maybe it's opposite how you want to use it. It does look a little darker than you might expect, but I think that's mostly to do with the lighting of the sky that's set up on the plot at the moment. And then the sky, of course, the space part, has the twinkling stars. There's even a little bit of purple stars going on. Most of them are blue and white, but there's touches of purple here and there. You'll notice that the desert one is pretty level with the trim. But if you go to the space one, you actually kind of sink down into it. So it's a little pocket of space. In addition to the diorama Bases, you've got some of the costume pieces, which includes the, I'm looking at the names trying to get it correct here. It's the decorative armor lumini is what this piece is called. It's basically an armor stand. You can see the stand here. Same way with the arm, hand pieces and everything. It's just a display for this nice, lovely armor. And then down below is the Vigilant Mask, I think is what it's called. Again, we talked about these being really useful as not just masks, but they could be used nicely for shoulder pads, knee pads, um, spaceship parts, all sorts of interesting things. A helmet, I can see like this looks almost like a helmet, put somebody's head in there. Looks like a little helmet on there. There's also quite a few NPCs available through Madame Faye. This is the Girok Skeletal. Oh, I can actually hover over these, and there's the name. This one is the Spider Black Green. Look at those eyes. It's creepy, creepy. For those of you that have got a lot of webbing and stuff in your haunted homes, she would make a great addition to it, to the web. Then we have the, I think, yeah, this is the Undead Buzzbing. So it's a little brown, I think. Creepy looking. We have the Surgeon Moody. Got his little, it looks like a loincloth on his face, is what it looks like. And then his little doctor hat thingy on there. Get over there. Try to get my camera to turn around. This is Surgeon Moody. And then there's a range of apparitions. There's way more than Poi has happened to show off here, but this gives you a good taste of what they look like. They all have that poofy mist, sprinkly stuff coming off of them. And they all look like they're kind of wearing purple outfits. But basically, it's human male, human female, Granok male, Orin female, Draken female, and then a Chua. There's a couple more, I think, maybe. Then we have the egg sacs from the spider. They don't seem to pulsate as far as I can tell. I thought there was a little bit of movement here, but I think that's just a shadow of him playing off of the light there. Of course, this is the Malvarine Black. Great werewolf kind of edition if you're looking for something like that. And then this is part of the diorama set. It's the Roan skull. The horns look much darker than on other screenshots I've seen, but again, I think that has more to do with the choice of sky that Poi has up at the moment. So you can tell, it's like with any other sky option or lighting option, it's going to affect the colors and everything of the decor that you've got laid out. So, like, I'm sure the armor's a lot more gold and shiny than it probably looks a little bit here. Oh, okay, is that on Dominion 2 or is that Exile Bones? Sorry if I'm making noise. I'm sucking on a cough drop trying to keep from hacking all over my screen. Trying to see what Ludwig's name is. I don't have his name out here. Is it Exile? Okay. Then we'll switch over to Exile, I guess. Excuse me. Trying not to hack, but it's really tough. This talking tends to aggravate it. What's the full name? Ugh. The name is in my head, but I can't dig it out this early in the morning. Ah, yes. Okay, thank you. So let's go to Ludwig's place. Okay, I forgot a letter. That's what it is. Gotta spell it right. There we go. Uberwald. Okay, where? Here we go. Oh boy, he looks pretty creepy. Look at that. It's the swamp monster. How come it won't highlight? Let me do a reload real quick. There we go. Now it says Nerid, unarmored. He's all quivery. His mouth is just disgusting. Look at his eyes though. They're like split. I just knew he was the Mordesh. There's Mulverine again. You can see him a little better this time. Not as dark. And then a couple of the other NPCs, the Granok one, especially. I don't remember seeing that one on Poise. Yeah, my little puppy's trying to show off. That's Poi Poi in honor of Poi, who was very generous and gave me the pet. Isn't he cute? He's got some wicked eyes, though. Look at that thing. Okay, so that's some of the decor and stuff that you can expect from Madame Faye. Yes, it's unfortunate that a lot of these nice, cool items are stuck behind a kind of RNG system, but thankfully, as more and more people play the coin game and more of these items flood the market, the prices go down. Because I know Siskri was talking about the price of the ominous sky being up in like the 1-2 plat range. Well, this morning I took a look and I saw at least 2 or 3 that were around 30 gold and less. So the prices are coming down. It's just a matter of you grabbing those deals while you can, and being patient enough to kind of, give it a few days as more and more people, as I said, play the Fey game. The availability will improve, and that means, the prices typically will come down. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is pretty creepy. It's the grave hoverboard. What is that, a casket on the back? Got some little ghosts that pop out. That's pretty wicked. Oh, I like the side flares, the little like reapers. Oh gosh. I don't know. I prefer my glitter kitty. It's pretty silly, but I do. Okay, so another thing I want to mention is Carbine is hosting a pumpkin carving competition this year. They've held one in the past. I actually participated and won a prize on that one. I won't be doing it this year, but I encourage those of you that have some clever ideas for pumpkins to give it a try. You never know, especially if there's not a whole lot of people participating. Your chances are pretty big. Um, They do have two separate categories, I think. One is for an actual pumpkin carving, and then they give you a virtual pumpkin that you can carve, I guess via your Photoshop or Paint Shop Pro or whatever kind of editing programs you might have. So if you don't want to get your hands in the pumpkin goop for realsies, you can go the virtual pumpkin carving way. But they've got some really nice prizes. I think it's a mount and a costume thing for most of them, but the top winners, I think it's two of them, will get 8,000. They say in coin, but I think they mean proto bucks as an extra incentive. So that's nothing to shake your nose at if you uh, are looking to spend some on some decor and stuff. This might be a chance to get some freebie stuff, because then what's nice is you get the proto bucks, uh, and then you can spend it on whatever you want. If you prefer pets and mounts, that's your choice. If you prefer unlocks for like your alt or something, you can go that route. Or if you just want to go hog wild on decor, there you go. But you can, excuse me, find that in the, I believe it's the news and announcement section. There is actually two threads up. One is for the rules and such for EU, and one that covers NA. So be sure and check the thread that is relevant to your region, and that will give you all the lowdown as far as the rules and requirements for each region. Okay, and then I think finally, yeah, finally is the PTR update, which is supposedly going to be going live tomorrow. Now, this is PTR, the player test realm. This is stuff that's going to be coming up in WildStar at a later time, but we get a chance to test it for Carbine, give them suggestions on if there's any kind of buggy issues, how they should fix it or improve it, get all that ironed out before it's actually released. But you'll find the write-up on that in, again, the news and announcements section. It talks about Red Moon Mutiny, new features coming to WildStar, coming to the PTR. As I said, it's slated for October 18th, the way I understand it, which is tomorrow. So if you have any inkling of trying to see how that's going to work for some of these new features, which includes cross-faction PvP arena teams, cross-faction guilds, cross-faction circles, cross-faction neighbors, cross-faction friends, they're going to be adding some PvP leaderboards, and of course cross-faction groups, including raid groups. Now, the only two things that they don't have cross-faction support for, goodness gracious, he's multiplied. That was kind of creepy. Is the world story instances and adventures. Those two particular bits are not going to be cross-faction. It's something to do with the mechanics of it. They haven't got the support for it, but it may be something they will try to put in later. But I think for us specifically, the neighbors and circles will be a big thing in relation to housing. I did post a question to, I think it was the one that posted the remarks. What was it, Pappy? Yeah, from Chad Moore, Peppy. I did pose the question, does this mean that the person limits, the cap of 500 for a guild and 100 for a circle, if those were going to be increased to accommodate the meshing of certain groups? I know for like specifically our housing circles, we've already had to struggle with too many in one faction, let alone bringing in both factions into a single entity. That will be complicated if they don't increase the number, and I am assuming it would be the same if they want to combine. I know there are some guilds that have a guild main grouping on one faction, but they also have like their alts or such on a different faction, and to be able to combine the two, will that um, pose an issue as far as being able to invite everybody into a single entity? I never got a response on that. Nobody else seemed to pick up on it, so I don't know if maybe I'm the only one that's worried about that, but it was something that crossed my mind. Because like with a lot of games, a lot of people, you may have like a true amount of maybe only 30 people playing, but if you add in all of their alts, you have easily over 100, very quickly added in if everybody's alts are included. It's one of the reasons why I don't put my alts in with any organization that I join, because I don't want to take up precious space with my lobies. I just keep it on my main. But others prefer to kind of keep in touch with people at all times, no matter what character they're on. And like I said, that can add up pretty fast. So I was curious about that, but I don't know if that's going to be addressed or not. It might be something that comes up later when more people get into it and see how it's going to affect their groupings when it comes to guilds and circles and such. The other stuff, I don't think that's going to really matter too much as far as limits, but those two areas for sure I think will be a problem. I also think, don't they have a limit for neighbors? Personally, I think I've barely touched on that because I don't really neighbor too many people. It's only usually on special things, circumstances that I get neighbored, like if I'm going to be helping them build something. But I think there's a cap there as well. So again, if you're already at the cap or close to it, and then you want to start adding uh, cross-faction neighbors, I think that's going to, again, pose an issue. But yeah, so that is that. I think that's everything. Pumpkin carving, signature player stuff, Madame Faye. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you again to Bones and Poi for plopping out some of these items so that we could get an up-close view of them. What you could use some of these for, I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is Swamp Monster for this guy. I guess it's a Red Moon thing. I've never seen this kind of creature before, or that I've noticed. Maybe it's one of those things from Starcom. I know they're kind of like got some fishy people. But I always thought they were like little skinny things, but I guess I never really paid much attention. I just killed them and moved on. But they're almost like gorilla style because they got the knuckles almost dragging the ground there. Anyway, so let's head off to Turnip's plot, and we'll see about maybe trying to finish up the painting there. Oh, I did want to show you. I got the pet out that Poi gave, the little ghost dog, but notice in the water, when you're looking down, he's completely invisible. All you see is his collar. You have to go under the water to actually see him. I think that's kind of weird. There's just a collar running around. Reminds me of those ones where people would get the little leash and it'd be like super stiff and you pretend like it's an invisible pet. Okay, so you can see I pretty much haven't done anything with the painting since we last touched it. About the only thing I did add was I was playing around with some ideas for fencing, because I think that's what I'm going to put as the last little bit, just something on the front. Now, I wondered if I should maybe put the fence here to kind of account for that different coloring of the dirt. But just because of the way I've done the painting itself, it seemed kind of not in the right place. Um, to do it. So I kind of nixed that idea and just figured we're just going to do the gate of some kind here. So what I've done so far is I've just placed, basically it's one of the swords, the Draken swords, the broadsword specifically. I dropped it in. I've tilted it slightly so that it's leaning a little bit forward so that basically the top part of it is mainly visible, so that as I push it in or out, it shrinks up and it looks a little bit less like a sword and more like, I'm hoping that it looks more like a pillar of some kind that you would see on a fencing. So I'm just going to replicate that here. And again, notice, see how this actually drops a little bit behind that tree. I'm going to have to pull it forward again just slightly to get that to, again, when you're doing the layering, you have to make sure the stuff that's in your foreground is actually above everything else. So it gets a little tricky, but I'm hoping that with the use of the swords being a kind of a small item, it's not going to be sticking out too much. You can see if I was to have it right directly in front of the tree, it would be even worse because the bottom of that tree trunk is really sticking out quite a ways. I'd have to pull this practically all the way out of the frame, but that's going to pose problems because then I'd have to tilt it more so that the base of it isn't showing too much. So yeah, just some things to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this forward just enough to get that top part of the, I guess it'd be the hilt of the sword to show. And what I'm hoping that this will look like is, I don't know what they're called, the pillars, the columns, whatever you call them. Whoops, meant to replicate that. Now notice I'm just kind of eyeballing again. This is something you could get all nice and spiffy by using Katias and getting it evenly spaced, but I kind of like the idea of just kind of leaving it kind of wishy-washy. Thanks, boy. For the actual fencing part, I'm not quite sure what I want to use for that. Let me just see. I was thinking maybe the Draken spears, but I don't think those will work quite right. Let me go to sculptures and stuff. I did drop in some gravestones. I wasn't sure what I was going to use. I even thought maybe using the crypts. Let me show you what I mean by that. To make it really small. But I was thinking maybe I could get this bit right. Using the back side. Gosh, I meant to really. I think it's just going to be too big. Look at that. I thought it might make a okay kind of like really big pedestal bit thingy. I don't know what you call it. Maybe I don't need this. But I don't know how to thicken this up other than maybe replicating this a bit. So there you get kind of an I don't know what you call it, insta something. That way it looks a little bit more beefy than the ones on the side, and then having the railings in between. Again, I'm not sure what to use for that. Maybe this. Wow, that's like big. See, but maybe that's in the accessories or accents. Yeah, see, I thought maybe the spear. Um, what's it called? Pointy? Totem. They call it totem. See, it's spear in one place and totem in the other. Totem doesn't seem right for this, but I thought about using this as part of the thing. So I'm going to try and see if we get away with using the coffin one, because that might be several pieces at once for the price of one piece. How this is going to look, because it is round, so that might pose an issue. At this size, it may not even show up very well. Like that, and even this part kind of gives it a little bit of a base. Sort of. Hey Faye, good morning. I'm glad you could join. You missed all the preview stuff though. We were taking a look at Madam Faye stuff and talking about some of the stuff you get from the signature station, like the Dominion pack and the Citizen packs. Be careful about the ones on the edges so you don't have something poking out that you don't want showing. If you want to get fancy, you could try adding like some kind of gargoyle bits up here. A quick way of doing that would be maybe to use there's the Draken statue, the one kind of looks gargoyle-y. You can use that, shrink it down quite a bit, put it on top. Show you which one I'm talking about. What's that in? Statues. Yeah, this one here. Shrink that down, then you have a little gargoyle thing. You could also probably use the winged one, the crypt with the wings on it. Again, shrink it down quite a bit. Do it that way. Um, I don't know. I think that's about as far as I want to take it. I don't want to really crowd it too much. There's a lot of overlap as it is. Here you've got the lines one way, and then now we have lines going this way. But I knew it was missing something. It just looked too bare. Um, I could maybe try adding some kind of a gate, I guess. But I kind of like just leaving it open. Um, but for gate, probably the thing I would use if I had it would be some of the Shades Eve stuff. Not really sure what that's section it's in. This one here, I like these bits, these little spiky bits. I would just kind of sink it and turn it, but because it's at the bottom of this picture, I don't know how feasible that would be. It would be probably pretty tricky. Trying not to get that the green wreath to poke through. But if I had it, a way to do it, I think I would use that. I like those, the pokey bits. You could go with just, if you want to use actual fences, those will work very fine. We have the about the stage, change this to 25. You have some really good ones for the Gothic. You got the stone posts. I think these are from the Thade vendor. I don't know if it's the same for Dominion side as well, but I know I'm pretty sure it's the Thade vendor right there. Oh, it's like the Judgment area where they have the trials or something. There's like a floaty platform, and underneath there's a vendor right there. It's the same place you can get what's it called? Uh, what that really super expensive, like 80 plat uh, hoverboard. I think it's the Bulldog one or something. It's the same vendor, I think, for that as well. The Glarus walls would work nicely. Just slap a few of those across. Um, there's this one here, the iron fence. The one a lot of us like to use for like the fireplaces and stuff. You could do that. Just set that right in there. And it kind of works even nicely too. The only problem is you might have to, because it's already preset on a certain uh, length, um, you may have to make it smaller than you intend just to fit all that in, because again, you have to watch that you don't have things poking out the side. Uh, oh, did you? Well, I know the cup of tea, I think it's directly from one of the Reputation vendors, isn't it? Um, I don't remember off the top of my head. It's like either, I don't know which one. But I didn't know the mushroom was, is it available from the vendor as well? I know they set the tea up that way, but let's see. This is a good one, the Dominion fences. Again, it's mostly because of the stone. I like the stones here. Maybe not so much this, but you could maybe cover this up with something else. A different kind of, use one of those ornate pillars and you don't to cover up what you don't want showing. Uh, Now, if you did get a hold of any of the Shades Eve decor from last year, they had a nice set of Gothic um, decor. These actually came with like the little Rouse bits on top. Again, if you have those Rouse statues, you could shrink those down and use them as the toppers on that particular bit. The only problem again, with interactable decor, which is what this gate is, gate/fence, it turns green when you mouse over it. That's irritating to me, but it does come with the little lamps, which is nice. But if you just want the fencing, see, I'm kind of done that, but I've done it cheaply. I don't have to have the actual Shades Eve decor. I don't think I grabbed any of these pieces last year. But it's very reminiscent of the other one. It's just slightly different. Um, so you have that version, and then you have, where is that thing? This one. So you can see it's similar, but it's not. I mean, they kind of use the same stones. The color's close. Even the shape of the pillars are similar, but it's just different enough. This is a little bit more uniform, whereas the other one looks a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't even have a little thing going across the top. It's just a bunch of spear points. And then, of course, there was just the plain old Gothic pillar. But again, I don't think I got a hold of any of those from last year's Shades Eve. So my version that I've got up here is a cheap alternative. It won't work in the case of actually using it as a real fence, but for a painting, it works okay. Do you mean they can get to the one in Celestia, or they have a new one in a Dominion area? I wish they would just make it so that all of the decor is available for both factions. Because I know there's like the cryopods, I think. Um, like the Dominion version is different than the Exile version. I'd really like to get a hold of the Dominion version. Water in Elevar near Sterling Reach where the Ichthyans are. Well, that's good to know. Especially for, Dominion players if they're looking for the cup of tea or the mushroom or whatever. But yeah, I wish they would make it so that, because there was like some other things like the Dominion wardrobe, that bluish funky thing that we see sometimes in the builds. Let's see, wardrobe. I think it's the wardrobe. Yeah, this thing. I think that's Dominion only right now. I'm sure there's some Exile only, but I honestly don't know which ones are. But I know like the cryopod, I think we don't have this one. And this one's great for doors and things. That'd make a great tabletop. Who knows what else? The handles are nice. They stick out just enough where you could probably get away with using them as handles for, towel racks or something. Yeah, I think this is our version and they don't have this one. They look completely different. But yeah, I would like it if they made it accessible to everybody for everything. But that's some good info. I appreciate that, boy. So I think unless I can come up with something to put on the tops of these, which I don't think I want to get too fancy, I think we're going to call this done. If you want to get cutesy, you could probably add like a little pumpkin, uh, like probably best if you can get the pumpkin orange. I think these come from the Renowned vendor. But if you don't want to or you can't afford the Renowned, there are the pumpkins, plural, and you would just have to work and twist it so that you only see the one if you just want the one showing. But like say, if you wanted to add a pumpkin, wow, that thing's huge. Everything's so big. Look at that, it's just gigantic. Mega pumpkin. You wanted to like maybe put the pumpkins on top of the little spiky bits, or make that as the little topper for your fence post, or maybe you want to put it down at the bottom in the front, you know, wherever. I don't know where you might want to put it. Let's just say we're going to have it spiked on the little ears there. If you want to give it a creepy face, while it would be fun if we could use the lights for the eyes and stuff, I think the windows would be a little problematic. Normally I would probably go with orange sconces, but I think if you're using multiples, this will like light up like a Christmas tree and be too bright. So maybe, I don't know if I got any windows. I got lots of those things apparently. Maybe you can get away with using some really tiny ones of these. Again, the smaller you go, the less likely people are going to be able to see it, so keep that in mind. But you can make it look like it's kind of lit up from the inside. Kind of hard to tell because it's so tiny and small. And then I guess a final one for the mouth. Like more window than pumpkin now, I think. Looks like he's smiling. Change that a little. Maybe the windows are too big. Maybe that's what it is. Rather than I think that's going to be just too small. Yeah, you can't even see it now. And I'm also fighting against the shape of the pumpkin itself. It's a little crooked and bent, so that doesn't help. It's so deformed. It's the one I come out. think maybe it's this eye that's a little wrong. Something sort of like that. It's not quite right, but closer, I think. Sort of. A very deformed, funky pumpkin there, but you get the idea. You make it a little bit scarier kind of thing. I don't have any extra pumpkins, so I guess I can show how you use the pumpkins. So again, you'd have the multiples. If you don't want those showing, you'll have to turn it, so just the one showing. Just trying to get an eye to show, sort of. Not quite working like I want, but I think you guys get the idea. It doesn't help that these are so small. You can't really make them out anyway, but there you go. So again, whoops, I made myself stop walking normal. So like if I was going to take a screenshot, you'd want to find a nice spot for it. I usually, sometimes if I'm doing screenshots for things like this, I might put like a little book stack here and have my character stand on it so I'm at a good height. Uh, Typically though, what I do is I've got it here, I like clear my screen up, and then I'm jumping, and I just randomly click the screenshot and hope that I catch it in a good spot. Because with the paintings, depending on what angle you're looking at it, it might look different than when you're looking at it straight on. And of course, I want to show it in the best possible way. And as anyway, so that's that sort of kinda. Added some fencing a little bit. Don't have a gate. I don't think I want to put one up. If I did, I'd probably want to move the fencing up a little bit and like have the gate kind of open. That might be a way to do it, but again, you're going to be having trouble because you're playing with perspective. With the fence like it is now, you can get away with using a standard fence if you want, even though I opted to custom mine. Um, but like if you want to So at an angle, again, you'd have to have it so that the smaller part would be out here, and then as it got closer, it would be wider. And if you're just using a standard gate or fence piece or whatever, you can't get that, um, at least not easily. So keep that in mind. It's easier if you just leave it either that or have the gate completely closed and do it that way. Um, what could you use for that? I don't know. Metal gate. There might be some fencing or something you could use. I don't know which though off the top of my head. Let me think. Core stopper. Back to the fences. Um, this might work if you turn it upside down. You know, maybe you don't want the barbed wire on the top, but if you turn it upside down, this might be all right, sort of, especially at that size. You're not going to see the little lightning bolts and stuff on it. I'm just thinking if I was to put in a gate, how, you know, which pieces I would want to use. None of this really looks. I would probably just custom it myself. Why this is in the fencing, I don't know, but it's there. Um, uh, Something popped in my head, now it popped right back out. Thinking about if you do a stone one, the tops of the tombstones might work. The gravestones, especially the this one here, that might be like a double thing. That's only if you use stone completely. Mine, I would probably want a wire gate of some sort. That would be my preference anyway. But yeah, I think we're going to call that good, and we're going to wrap things up for today, guys. My throat's starting to get really dry and scratchy, so I don't want to push it too much. So yeah, I appreciate you joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the little previews of some of the decor that is currently available, and at least for most of us, or I should say for those of us that are signature, for sure, we have access to the Dominion goodies and the citizens. But rest assured, those of you that aren't signature, eventually you will have an opportunity to get a hold of some of those. It's just that the signature folks get early access to some of these decor packs. And it just so happens that these particular ones are currently available to us, but they will be made available to the general population later. Again, I don't know how long they stay on the signature station before they go to everybody else. I want to say it's a few weeks, maybe as long as a month. I really don't remember. I want to say it's probably not too long because with it being the season for these particular decor, I don't think they're going to wait until after Shades Eve to give that to everybody. So I figure we'll probably get like a week advance access, and then the rest of us will get to reach into that as well. Appreciate that, Poi. I do. And all in all, I feel much better than I did towards the end of last week and over the weekend. But it's one of those things I'm prone to kind of hanging on to, especially a cough. So I'm trying to take it really, really easy so that I don't develop one. Because once I get one, if I don't nip it in the bud straight away, those things can hang on for like months. And I've had that happen several times, and it's no picnic. It's really awful and sounds horrible, and I just don't want to clutter my stream with lots of hacking and coughing and stuff. But it was pretty bad last week. Last week I would cough and it would hurt and you'd like taste copper, like it's like blood or something. It was like nasty. And but I'm much better now, so I appreciate all the well wishes. For those of you that have sent some private words and stuff, I do appreciate it. For tomorrow, we'll probably start on a new project for probably the CBDC. I might try my hand at that alternate Frankie that we were talking about last week or the week before. Trying to build a new Frankenstein, see if we can get one that better matches the Bride of Frankenstein that we set up. Um, or we might try a hand at a gargoyle type of thing. I did want to try and build one for my husband, even though I haven't really come up with any good ideas for that. Um, and of course, I've been continually getting notes from others that have been working on their CBDC projects. So I know we got a good handful of those for the end of the month showcase, which is coming up on the 31st. So if you don't join for anything else, join for that. And of course, our weekly house tours. I believe it's, whose turn is it this week? Is it Exile? I think it's Exile. I honestly don't remember. I think it's, yeah, I think it's Exile. But whoever's turn it is, it's going to be awesome. The other people's places are always so great to check out. So be sure and drop by for that. Um, Again, remember we do have I think today, in fact, is the last day for the double XP explosion. I think it was supposed to end on the 17th, which should be today. So either it's going to stop in a few hours when the rollover happens, or maybe it goes on until the evening sometime today. So if you haven't gotten your character where you want them, you want to squeeze out a few more bits of XP gain, go for it before it ends. And of course, we do have Shades Eve that's going to be kicking off on the 19th. That's Wednesday. So big time, big fun. I hope those of you that didn't get to partake last year will find it just as exciting and entertaining as we did when it first came out. I'm hoping that there's a little extra new stuff for those of us that did partake in it last year, but even the stuff that they had, even if it's just the same stuff, is still going to be amazing. Just with the decorations in the cities and the instance that comes with it, and just the whole atmosphere that goes on. It's really enjoyable. So looking forward to it. In the meantime, good luck with your projects. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.